So today on Trades Talk Podcast Studio, we have Nyembo King Marusho.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah, and let's see, we're from DRC Congo.
Correct.
And you moved to South Africa.
Yes, sir.
And then you moved to Wichita, Kansas, of all places that you could go.
yeah, Wichita. Yeah, I'm originally from Congo. I grew up in South Africa, moved to the U.S. about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm loving it.
Why, I really got to know, though, why Kansas? I mean, I understand that it's in the middle of the country. That's cool, but there's so many, I guess being a resident and being from Kansas, I see other places and I'm like, you know, there's a lot of potential here.
Well, to be honest, it wasn't a choice in a sense that the company that I first worked for when I moved to America was McCurdy. So they are based here in Wichita. So it's like I couldn't go anywhere else because that's where I got the job. You know,
most of the time, whenever you ask that question, like, you know, why Wichita? Most people are like, oh, the military, Air Force, or
no.
You know,
people usually say the cost of living. Actually,
yeah, it is.
They usually say
decent.
It's more affordable than most other places. So,
and I mean, we're coming up on the tech spectrum, and we're.
I would say so.
We're being innovative.
I would say so.
There's surprisingly enough, though, there's a lot of restaurants, chains, Pizza Hut. That was originally
you
from
told
here.
Me this. Yes, I remember this.
White Castle burgers.
I did not know that.
You've never seen Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
I have not.
Oh, you got to see it now. All right, so it's like literally this whole movie is about these two dudes that basically
Is it the
get
Three
high.
Idiots?
No, it's similar.
It's similar.
But yeah.
Okay.
So they get high, and their whole purpose is to go find a White Castle. And White Castle got really popular
because of that
movie. And what's funny is, like, honestly, White Castle is not that good. The first time I ever had White Castle was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
That's the first time you ever had
The first time I ever saw it, too. Like, actually seeing it, I'm like, oh, there's White Castle. Like, I'll go try it. And I was like, no.
Do they not have one in Wichita?
No. And they're from here. And I'm like, oh. There's been talk about it coming here, and being developed here, but who knows? Let's see. I heard a rumor a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna correct me on it, but I heard a rumor that Starbucks was actually developed here
in Wichita,
and then it ended up going to Seattle. I heard a rumor.
I don't
just
know
from
much
like the
about
original owner or something of that nature. I think it might just been somebody trying to, you know, bullshit their way through a conversation. But I didn't research it because I don't really care. It's not one of those things.
That's an interesting thing. I might have to go look that up.
Yeah, I
might have to go look that up. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know for sure, but there's some other stuff. But you know, the two. Well, I mean, you have stuff like Boeing.
Yes.
You know, that's based out of here. There's some bigger companies, Cessna, Raytheon. You know, globally known names, but those are aircraft. So we should be the windy city. I mean, as much wind as we've gotten lately, but that's Chicago, which makes no sense. And we should be the windy city, but we're the air capital. So
interesting.
Air capital just for, you know, all the aircraft manufacturers that are here, even though they can't stay here or they want to, you know, lay off people. So,
yeah.
Oh, well. So tell me, BeATech.
Yes.
I like the name. I heard your presentation today through BNI. Tell us the structure and the vision behind BeATech, like where you got started, who you are, and kind of how you got to be that person and where you're at today.
That's a
big question.
That's a big question. Where do I start? So originally from Congo. My parents had to obviously move because of everything that was happening at the time. and they moved to South Africa. And they moved obviously trying to get a better life for themselves and from the family that they were trying to build. But unfortunately, life wasn't as easy in South Africa for them, especially because they were not English speakers at the time. So they did all they could to send me and my siblings to school. And we would come back and teach them what we learned in school in terms of like English and stuff. So that's how they kind of...
So you taught your parents English?
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at first grade, imagine. So, yeah, so if I learn about
I send my kid to school to learn, and I come back learning myself.
Hey, they had to do what they had to do. And that paid off. It actually paid off because then they had to... They started getting like small jobs here and there to pay for our school fees and all of the other stuff. So that was, I guess, the beginning of me as Nyembo. You know, this was, I didn't know what I wanted.
And you went to school in South Africa?
In South Africa, yes. Okay. At this point, I wasn't sure what I needed to do or what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be so many different things. Right. But I guess the situation, I'm a big believer in Christ. So the situation that put me in that place made me who I am today, because it was so dangerous to go outside at some times. So my parents couldn't afford like PlayStations and stuff at the time. So they were like, hey, we can get you a laptop that you can maybe go with to school eventually and use it for college and whatever. But that's all we can afford to give you right now to help keep you in the house, basically. Right. So they got me a small laptop. You know, I started playing games on it and I ended up falling in love with it. And by the time I was in high school, I already knew what it is I wanted to do in college, which was software development. So within my first year of college, it was a little shaky start, but I managed to get an internship at a utilities company in South Africa. Shout out NetVendor. So they took me on. You know, I was under the leadership of one talented developer. He showed me the way, he showed me the ropes, started giving me minor projects to work on. And I actually learned quite a lot over there. That is where I would say most of my tech knowledge came from, because that is a utilities company. It works completely different.
Now, utilities meaning like
lights.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So your lights. So it was a company that came to your house, installed meters.
Oh, okay.
In your house.
Yep.
And then they had a software custom to their company where you pay as you go, meaning you don't pay $1,000 at the end of the month if you only use $700. So if your top up is running low, you just pay on your phone, you top it up, and then it pushes that whatever amount you would like to pay for your utilities onto your utilities. So that opened up a lot of doors for me in the sense that I started gaining a lot more knowledge, and one thing led to the other. They hired me on full time. And I started obviously applying to other places, you know, because I was like, man, this is an actual career. You know, I could actually make a living off of this. And I was fortunate enough to apply here. And then I had McCurdy reach out and be like, hey, we really like your work. You know, we're interested in bringing somebody on who is going to help us, I guess, build an in-house version of their auctioning system. Okay. They had an auctioning system that they were paying a third-party vendor to use every single month, and they wanted to cut out that cost. So I was 19 at this point. So I'm like, I don't know if I can.
And you're only 24 now?
I'm 26.
26, okay.
Yes, 26 Jeez. Right now. Yeah.
Okay, it makes me feel a little bit better. I'll be 40 this year.
Oh, you don't.
Yeah. I don't look at things. Appreciate it. Yeah.
But yeah, so I just got the opportunity to get a job here, you know, so managed to move my entire family.
As far as
here.
United States.
Yeah. As far as the United States, you know. And McCurdy,
so was the ultimate goal overall like to be a U.S. citizen?
Yes. I've always wanted to move outside of the country in which I grew up from, because I knew that there's always better opportunities.
Environment there as far as
safety wise, but more so opportunities. Yeah. It was very difficult living in South Africa as a foreigner or as a refugee. They don't really like refugees, as unfortunate as it is to say. You know, they don't necessarily like refugees. And South Africa is what raised me. You know, the environment, the people, like there's some genuine people out there.
Right.
but there's obviously a few bad ones, and
it comes with the territory for anybody, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at. Every culture, every situation, every race, every person, there's good and there's bad.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. Yeah. So there's no discrimination.
Yeah. So that's something that was a big problem in South Africa, to the point where I will never forget this. In 2008, we had to abandon our houses and stuff because they were. Yeah, it was so gruesome.
Abandon the house in South Africa?
In South Africa, okay. Yes. In 2008, there was a point where it was like a xenophobic attack. So we had to like abandon all our stuff because they were breaking in the houses and trying to burn people with tires.
Well,
I'm
very happy that you're here.
I am glad to be
here.
You
survived 2008.
I am glad to be here, yes. But that shaped me to becoming who I am today, in the sense that I grew resilience, I grew understanding, and I grew in terms of maturity and understanding that people are different and everybody's entitled to their own opinion or whatever it is. All you can do is treat the people with respect and hope to get it back. That's the only thing you can do, you know. If
half the people in this country had that mentality, we would be in a lot better position today.
Oh, I appreciate that.
A lot better. If a quarter, 25% had that mentality, it would be there's a select few, me, the people that, of course, in our BNI.
Yes.
I mean, you've been welcomed not only with open arms, but you have an amazing story. It's a story that, you know, we can say as much as we want that we understand, but we don't. Yes. No one that's here that's not been in your situation or in that relative landscape could even possibly think that they understood. So I'm glad that you're here.
Yes.
We had a wonderful interview, I think, whenever you first came to Dr. John's office. So I think that was a great interview. I asked you a lot of tough questions.
Yes.
You were kind of like, damn, I didn't know.
Geez, I was not expecting these questions today.
Well, I mean, I think that might be why they were like, hey, we know you've been through some interviews before on how to ask, but, you know, it's like, there's certain questions you have to ask.
There's certain questions, as hard as they are, you need to get out. And that was, I guess, me having that conversation with my recent or last employer. So getting back to BeATech, so after I left McCurdy, I got another position as a senior front-end developer for a consulting company. So they consult a bunch of different companies, and I can't obviously name some of the companies they work with, but that's when I realized that not every company is the same.
Right.
You know, McCurdy was amazing, great company culture, great atmosphere, great everything. When I moved to the other company, it was like the atmosphere was not there. The culture was not there. Like the standard documentation was not there, you know? And when I obviously raised these concerns, it didn't really sit well with the owner, and we had to take it to court, to the point where we went to court and we sorted it out. I got compensated for whatever I was, owed, because I got wrongfully terminated. But at that point was the turning point in my life, because it was like, I need to do something. And I don't know what it is I'm going to do, because I don't have a job right now. But I already know the aspect of everything that goes on in my world. I can put it together and make something happen. So I was like, you know what? I'll register an LLC and see where it goes. So I did. I was like, my best friend is my mom. My mom is my best friend. Her name is Beatrice. So I was like, I have always been the older brother in the house, helping all my little siblings with all their presentations or any like digital thing that they needed to do for school. And I would always do it my way. But when I would show them, they would be like, I like it, but could you like change this or change that? So I was like, So this is me allowing you to become your own, whatever it is, but coming up with an idea to get you started. So that's what BeATech is about, becoming your own technician, in the sense that we come with an idea, you look at it and reshape it into what you believe is right for your brand.
Now, what if a company or individual
Yes.
that came to you for your service
Yes.
said, I honestly just want you to take care of everything? Is that available?
Yes, that is a possibility.
Okay.
It depends on exactly what the client's budget is. If they, they just want a small e-commerce business,
Right.
to run your flower shop or whatever it is, we could do that.
Okay.
If you want a whole restaurant, we could do that.
So I've seen a plethora of different companies that are digital marketers, and they say it with a way, it's almost kind of like nowadays, over, I'd say, the past 5 years, I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly? Like, what part of content do you create? Exactly. Or do you actually even create anything? Because a lot of them are the gamer girls that are sitting at a chair playing a video game,
games,
and they're like, oh, I'm a content creator. No, you're a video gamer. Call it what it is. And then there's the other ones that are, you're a porn star. You're not a content creator. You're a porn star.
But in the realm of digital marketing, it is still regarded as content because people are consuming it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, I guess.
So is there anything that you don't do? That might be an easier question rather than.
It actually might be a more difficult question.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because we do a lot. So at BeATech Media, if you go on our website, www.beatechmedia.com, you will see that we do photography, videography, digital marketing, SEO services, website design, branding. So we try
e-commerce.
E-commerce, copywriting.
Yep.
We try to bring it full circle.
Okay.
So if you come
to us, just come to an idea.
Come to us with an idea for like one aspect of our services. We could help you with that, or we could help you with pretty much everything that you come to us for.
Now, you said that you starting it and building the company to where it is right now. Mm-hmm. You still feel like Wichita, Kansas in general is your home because there's innovation here?
Yes. Okay. I feel like this is my home now, especially because it was welcoming. Like everybody in Wichita is so nice. Everybody, I mean, from the ones that I've met.
Right.
And the people here, the culture, like everybody is just understanding. They know that everybody's striving to make a living and they're willing to support and invest. My first 2 clients were local business owners, from Wichita. So it's like, those type of connections mean more to me than anything because I would rather work with somebody that I can have a connection with than work with somebody that it's a pain to work with, but they pay a hefty, it's like, is the money really worth it? Yeah. Or you
Trust
get sleepless
me, I've had some customers like that where it's like, yes, I mean, you're paying a hefty price. Well, sort of. You have a large project.
Yes.
And that large project typically comes with a large ticket price. Mm-hmm. But man, it's a headache sometimes dealing with certain customers because you're just like, why are you nitpicking so much? Like, you're not even going to see this aspect, but they want to be involved. So you have to shift the way that you normally do things and you have to adapt to that.
Yes, and accommodate for them.
Yeah, and you got to accommodate every single thing that they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everybody's different. You get different customers.
I'm sure in what you do because you open up the world of possibilities on everything. So you're going to end up dealing with everybody,
pretty much
anybody.
Yes. Yeah, we try to stay away from like firearm and.
Okay, like, so there's certain areas
we try to stay away from, like firearm, maybe.
Now, is that because of the rules and regulations, or is that because of the commerce side of it, where the transactions?
Actually, it's a combination of a lot. So, apart from just the transactions, there's certain licenses that you have to make sure you have.
That's right. Yeah, licensing.
Yes, licensing, and it's just, I guess, my belief in terms of like being associated to those type of things. Okay. So.
Well, I like guns.
Hey, everybody's entitled to like what they like. I've been around guns. I've seen them. I have friends who own them. So it's like, it's not something that I'm like
against.
It's just I just personally just don't want to get associated.
Respect it.
Yes,
not
of course.
A problem. Well, if you ever want to try some out, you just let me know.
I'll keep that in mind.
Because I got some land here, so I target practice.
Okay.
Hunt, and of course, that's pretty much it.
What do you hunt? Like
deer.
Okay.
Well, around here, there's not really too much. Even though there has been a few deer on the property, it's such confined quarters with other properties that even if I was to shoot the deer here, it's probably going to end up on somebody else's. So now I have to track it across, 3 different properties possibly.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to have to message every one of them and be like, I'm going hunting for my deer. I did shoot it on my side, but so here it's primarily target practice. I have 3 sheriffs that live next to me and a state trooper that's my direct neighbor.
Okay.
So every once in a while they'll come out and target practice as well, or you'll hear them shoot. I have some friends that live not too far away. I hear them shoot all the time, like all the time. I wish I could have that much ammo because ammo's pricey. So I'm not going to shoot that much.
How did you get into guns, if you don't mind me asking?
Military mostly. So growing up, my father had some, but he was so I have my own, like nothing anywhere in comparison, but my childhood was not as wonderful and great as it could have been. So my father was actually my stepfather. He was an alcohol abuser in general, but he had a lot of guns. And I was always raised with this, you're not allowed to be around them, touch them. There was no training or teaching. I didn't learn about them really until I was maybe 16. Okay. 15, 16. Then 10. I started like, okay, what is this? And just from friends and people around. Then through the military, of course, learning the weapon systems and stuff like that in the military.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Yep. And getting into them a little bit more and more, it became more of safety and security. And that primarily is based on the area that we live in and the area I lived in at the time. So I've not always lived in the Kansas area. So I've lived in Florida, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Oklahoma.
How do you just up and leave? Like, how do you... I've done it
Travel.
3 times, but...
Opportunity. Sometimes it came down to opportunity. Sometimes it came down to the opportunities are gone. Find somewhere else.
Okay.
So in some of the work that I've done before, I had to travel for it already, whether it be an adjuster or in the technician field of cable and utilities. You just kind of travel around. So you meet different people, you learn different ways of life, and you got to really start to explore the world. Hell, even technically lived in Colombia, the country.
What?
For a period of time. So
what were you doing there?
To put it into words that I worked for the Colombian Air Force.
Okay.
And set up a jig for aircraft. About all that I can say.
That is interesting.
There, the rules and everything is so much different than what it is here. But their way of life is almost more peaceful. Here, to me, from being in other countries that I have been in, outside of Mexico, I mean, it's kind of relaxing, honestly. Here, it's you have to work to be able to live. There, you're kind of just like work is a part of your life, yes, but you're living a lot of it. Things are different there.
I'm
it's
so glad you
relaxed.
brought that up because that's something that I noticed moving to America. You guys are always on the go.
On the go, constantly.
You can't be just, relaxing or nothing because business needs to keep moving. Everything you need.
Everything here is based on a 9 to 5.
Yeah. Which
is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. And it's a beautiful thing to see certain people who obviously make it out in life and have nice things and get the time to spend quality time with their families and stuff like that. But I noticed America is always on the go. So that's something that I actually picked up.
Yeah, when you explore different areas, you notice that it's such a
big difference
way of life in general.
Yeah.
So in Italy, it's like a 2-hour lunch break, and then they not only drink on lunch, but then they take a nap.
No way. In Germany?
I've never been, so I'm not quoting by personal experience, but I had a friend a long time ago told me of an experience after when he'd worked for Boeing, and he would go out there. He's like, well, I'm not going to say exactly. Basically, this guy that he worked with that was an Italian and was actually like a part of the company, but a permanent resident there.
Okay.
He would take a lunch, go to his car, be there for 2 hours, and then they would drink on lunch, and then there was a nap, and it was like an hour worth of work after that, and then they were done for the day. They go
home? Okay.
He's like total working like 25, 30 hours a week. And that was full time.
Full time. Wow.
But they didn't, the culture was not, work to be able to survive.
I see.
Here, unfortunately, everything is driven off of like, how hard do you work?
Yeah.
It should be completely different. We should be able to have more family time, more.
Yeah.
That's probably why we're always so high strung. Not only that, but there's a new coffee shop every freaking mile or every block. There's a new one or a different one. It's all the same. It's coffee, for crying out loud. It's coffee. It's all the same bean.
Well, Walmart, Target, same store.
But same store, different logo.
Yeah, people choose to go different places.
I mean, same bean. Roasted. Oh, well, this one's roasted. This one's dark roast, light roast. It don't matter.
But I guess that's where BeATech comes in terms of like branding. When we have different companies come to us in the same industry and they want to stand out, we always tell them, don't forget the 2 F's. Don't be found and forgotten. You gotta be found and followed. Like your social media, your Instagram, your Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is that is associated to your company needs to all come together and seem like in unison, because we don't want your website to have one logo and then your Facebook has a different logo that is completely different from your, so you have to try to balance it out in the sense that have everything centralized and have everything unified to the point where when somebody Googles you or Googles your company or Googles coffee shop and they look through all the companies, there might be 5 different other companies, but you might stand out because it's like everything matches across.
I see.
So
that's why so is that a part of the vision as far as
it's a part of the vision.
Just making sure that
sure that you stand out. Like I've always been a creative in so many different ways, like to the point where to this day, I can't believe I can say this, but I get royalties from a song that I wrote for somebody else to sing, So it's things like this that I'm like, if I can do that, I can do anything,
So what's the song?
I will put it in we'll put it in the description.
Okay.
It's one of my friends. He's a full-time YouTuber. He does that full-time now.
Oh, so. You share? Okay.
Yes. He does that full-time. So
both of those channels were like they were
They're
quite a ways up there.
They're doing like they're doing numbers.
I don't think I can get that high. Maybe. Like, it probably take me 20 years, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you just got 2 million followers." Like, the standard now is 20.
That's the thing when it comes to creativity. I've always been a creative in the sense that I have an eye for design. I like things to look beautiful, whether it's a website, whether it's an image, whether it's a video, I like to be a part of the process as well.
Right.
So I pretty much every work that comes to BeATech has to be approved by me before we even put it out anywhere.
And you have a team.
Yes, I have a small team right now of 6 employees, but we're hoping to grow soon. I'm trying to get a dedicated marketer right now. I'm a developer by trade, so I sit on my computer just coding. So I had to learn to socialize in the sense that having to learn how to sell.
Yeah.
So that was something that I had to do, but I need somebody dedicated to just do that for me, while I stay in the background. So but it's going to be difficult because having them see my vision is.
Yeah. So maybe, this is just a thought.
Yes.
Instead of having somebody see the vision, have somebody share the vision. So instead of you, just like with what you said, you're wanting somebody to provide the vision to you and you shape it for them.
Yes.
So that's how you need to be looking for the person to be a part of BeATech. So you explain the vision to them and they're helping you shape it to where the way that you want it to be. So instead of you really trying to show someone, you are just trying to have them share in that vision. It's very difficult to find a good salesperson though, because honestly, from everything I've experienced and from what I've heard within not only my industry, but others, you're either born with it or you're not. You cannot teach personal skills. You can't teach how to be personable, and those characteristics, they're not something that you can go check a box and you learn that today. It's you either have it or you don't. So, but the art of a sale can be taught as long as they have the personality to be able to do it. So maybe find somebody that shares in the vision, but when looking for somebody in that spot that you want to fill, think about who that person could be, like a version of you, and then you will find that person without looking. It'll just kind of come to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually looking for somebody because I want to step back from the day-to-day.
You're wanting to be the developer.
I want to just focus on the actual product. So once you acquire the client or acquire whatever it is, I want to work on whatever the client needs rather than me.
So he's looking. So maybe if somebody's wanting a job or can impress him, we'll put your email on there and they can send the
text the office email. We have a dedicated team that's always responding to that.
Maybe you might get a resume or a LinkedIn profile. So you also handle like LinkedIn as well. That social media.
Yes. So we do LinkedIn. The thing about digital marketing as a company rather, is we're focused so much on helping other people grow. We sometimes forget to market ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the pickle I've kind of found myself in. And we're working on trying to restructure that so that we can start obviously advertising ourselves more as well as advertising all our clients. But yeah, we do handle social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We handle everything from like a
TikTok.
Yeah. Pretty much anything digital you can think of.
But that also shows your dedication. Rather than you trying to grow for just your company, you're helping others. So that in itself shows the servitude.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So I wouldn't look at that as a hindrance or that might just be a small objection to where you're at right now, but that just shows what kind of person that you are. Rather than you making this flashy company about what we can do and we're this and we're that, but not provide results. But now you're providing results and yet you're not like where you think you should be. Like, I think that's more servitude. Like that shows that you're actually dedicated to being that person and that company that's not there to quote unquote screw somebody over or give false promises. Because that's what a lot of,
I love that angle.
What I've seen in the industry from the digital marketing, everybody says that, oh yeah, we'll organically get you to number one. Good luck.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Good
I've
luck.
heard a lot of people tell people, hey, we'll get you to number one, page number one. Even Google sometimes isn't on the first page of itself.
Yeah.
It's a lot that goes into SEO that people don't necessarily understand, because SEO revolves around optimizing your website, optimizing your name so that it matches across all platforms, optimizing images, giving them actual meta tags, names, like attaching,
kind of like the keyword
like
tags.
a keyword tag, so that even if somebody looks you up and goes to images, it still can pick you up as your brand. Apart from just those things, we have like ads, paid per clicks, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever other ads that you want to incorporate into all of those things. We have email marketing. We have like tunnels that you gather information on past clients, whatever it is. There's a lot that goes into SEO, and people are like, hey, I can do this for $100 a month and you'll be number one.
Yeah. Good luck.
That's not going to happen.
No. All right. So I have a question that you might have not had before.
Okay.
From all of your knowledge in the industry to now, what has been the most either radical or most innovative thing that you've seen come out of technology in your space, say in the past 5 years?
I would say the AI stuff.
The
ChatGPT, yeah.
Yep.
That has changed the way a lot of developers code, because AI can just generate a whole page worth of code for you nowadays. You can literally just say, hey, create for me a form that does ABC. It's going to generate a code. You literally copy that code, inject it into your website. Now you have a working page. Obviously, it's not going to be spot on.
Right.
You might have to obviously edit it a little bit and know what you're doing. But if you have the basic knowledge of programming, it shouldn't take you 2 minutes to figure it out. So, yeah, I would say ChatGPT is the biggest thing to come out of my career right now.
Where do you think in the next decade the digital marketing aspect and area and industry, where do you think that's going to land? Is it going to be heavily driven from AI, or is it still going to have that human component?
I would say it's going to be 50-50. People are always worried about AI taking over, but I don't think that's a fair assessment.
I think we should be a symbiotic relationship.
Exactly. People are just, I think the fear is normal, especially with the things that people are trying to create.
Yeah.
But especially with like using the AI for wrong things like face generation, now you're pretending to be somebody you're not, just to scam somebody.
It's been around for a long time though.
But now it makes it easier for people to do it, which is typically bad. But I see AI as something that's going to help a lot of future businesses, future generation in the long run. It's never going to replace people like you. That's for a fact. We know that we won't have, we might have robots that do this and that, but it's like, who's going to go up the roof and on a rainy day and do ABCD? You know? It's like, so there's a lot of different aspects of that I feel like is going to be beneficial. There are going to be some bad things that come out of AI, but I feel like it's going to be beneficial in the future for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, it's going to replace some people, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, yes. But in the sense that if people are smart enough to go along with the trend and learn these skills, AI can't do everything. Sometimes you need human interaction.
We would be in a whole nother conversation and whole nother world if 50% had that mentality.
AI can't do everything.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of people in this country, specifically this country, that think McDonald's is a career. It's an entry-level position to get you into
something else.
Yes.
We're always going to need people to work at McDonald's.
Yes.
That's not, downgrading anything that goes out at
just
McDonald's.
Be there for a year or two.
Yes. Transition. If you're trying to grow, if you're trying to build yourself up as a person,
I feel like, well, as you was informed today and told today, like you honestly are a breath of fresh air for the innovation and the desire that you actually have. Because in a lot of people's mindset nowadays, the Generation X or even the millennial, but the beginning portion of the millennials, we always look at the ones like Gen Zs and whatever else that you want to call them. I don't know all the
I don't know what they'd be calling them these days.
Anybody pretty much younger.
Yes.
Like they don't have the motivation. They don't have the skill set that they're choosing correctly. Lazy, not going anywhere in life, essentially. And you clearly at 26, 24, whatever, young gun.
We're trying.
Like that's awesome. I'm very happy to see that.
I appreciate that.
And like I said, if 50% man had the mentality that you do, then we could probably be in a lot better realm. And I think the ones that I see complaining the most about some of those changes are the ones that are not willing to grow.
Yes.
They're not willing to adapt and overcome.
Yes. Life is always changing. Life is ever changing. So if you're not willing to be a part of the ride, you're going to get left behind.
Life doesn't have a remote. You got to get up and change it yourself.
Exactly. So that I agree with that.
We have too many things in our world and society. I say society primarily because of where we live. That it's been too much of a convenience factor, and that has dumbed down people, but also at the same time degraded their ability to fend for themselves and learn more and more. So thank you for you being you and all that you've been through to get here. And I'm glad to be your friend and partner in the things that you do. So
thank you guys you guys welcomed me into the BNI. It feels like I've been with you guys for the last year or so, so
time flies with it, man. It does.
Time does fly with it.
That was what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, about 3 months ago. Yeah.
Jeez, actually, it's already, it's been that long since that interview.
Yeah.
I felt like it was.
I know, exactly.
Like a few weeks ago.
Exactly. So time actually does fly. So
8-9 weeks, something like that. Still,
yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll get your information and everything put up on line for this, so you can reach him at.
You can text us at office@beatechmedia.com, and we have a dedicated team to get back to you guys as soon as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram at BeATech Media, just BeATech Media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you want them to know?
I
would definitely want to bring you back on. Let's say 6 months.
6 months. Yeah.
Maybe just an update, like who you are now, what's been the changes, what else maybe some people put some comments about like what they want to know, things that they'd like to know about you.
Of course. Yeah.
So.
Most definitely. I'm open to coming back for sure. Thank you for having me today. It was a pleasure to indulge in.
Well, it's your first podcast.
It is my first podcast. So this is
maybe some others around here locally that kind of dive into different areas. Maybe they'll invite you on.
Yeah, probably.
That'd be awesome.
I'm interested to talk about tech. I'm always open to having these conversations because I learn a lot. I like learning, and I'm a student at heart. So
life's a lesson. You'll learn it when you're through.
It is. It is. Thank you very much for having me, Devin.
Maybe it would be like Trades Tech Talk.
Hey, you could trades and tech.
Trades and tech talk.
The double T. Yeah.
All right. I like it. Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks. Thank you, Nyembo.
Of course.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. Definitely.